Welcome everyone back to Pommy in Oz, and we're back with the first cab off the rank in our draftee profiles, and we've got Dandenong superstar Cooper Simpson. Cooper, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing very well, Dan. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, mate, my pleasure. Now, you've had quite a big underage year. You won a BNF, and you're the co-captain, aren't you? You're in the leadership group out there. How are the nerves, knowing that this is the end of your season and we're coming up into all that media hype for the draft? How are you feeling about that?
Long for this moment to get drafted, and it's finally just around the corner. So I'm so excited for it. I try not to think too much about it and just focus on the present. But there's obviously that factor of thinking about it, getting excited for it. So it's definitely an exciting period of my life. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it.
And you had a bit of an injury, didn't you, early doors, and you missed the last couple of championship games. How does that affect a young lad? Obviously, we know in the AFL that's your full-time job, but I think people forget you're also at school and you're living your life. So it's not like you've got full 24-hour care. How does that, how do you work through that as such a young man?
Yeah, well, it was a pretty bad corky in the end. I think I was on crutches for a bit over a week. So trying to juggle that with school and then daily life, I guess, was a bit of a challenge. But I think I was pretty grateful that it wasn't like a serious knee injury or anything like that. So I was pretty lucky in that aspect. But yeah, it was definitely a struggle just to get around in daily life.
And what does the week look like as a young draftee? Obviously, you've got your school. Like, is there any extra training? Are you expected to do extra training on your own, or is that from your club and from your state side? How do you fit all that in, Cooper? It seems mental.
5 times a week, and then footy training on the nights, and then you got to factor in gym as well in there. So it does get pretty hectic. But I think I've been pretty lucky for my parents. They've taken good care of me. So I've been pretty lucky there. But yeah, weeks are hectic, late nights, early mornings. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, we're recording this on a Sunday at 9 a.m. So when I was a kid, 18, 19, I don't think I knew 9 o'clock existed on a Sunday, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty early.
Now, off season coming up, what's the plans for you, Cooper? Are you going to get away from the Melbourne from the Melbourne grind, or are you just going to spend time with the family? What have you got planned just before it's basically your last year of freedom?
Yeah, well, not sure. I haven't got anything planned yet, but I'll definitely have something going on, whether that's with the family or with mates or something like that. Yeah, it'll be good to get away and just relax somewhere else. So, yeah, it's definitely on the cards.
And you've had a pretty solid year. How would you rate your year this year? Has it gone to plan? Is there anything you would have liked to have done more of?
Yeah, well, it's been a pretty injury-interrupted year for me. I've obviously had a few corkies this year, which I've been a bit unlucky with, and then the breaks also in the coach season. So it's been pretty up and down for me, which I would have liked it to be a bit smoother. But that's just the way footy is, I guess. So I would have liked to have that back, but you can't have that back. You've got to live with that. So I think with the games I've played, I think I've put my best foot forward and hopefully shown to the recruiters what I can do.
And how would you describe your game style? Obviously, we've seen you play across the midfield. You've played a little bit forward as well. What would you describe your game style as for those watching at home?
Yeah, well, I think I'm a clean midfielder who is able to distribute the ball out of congestion. Sorry, I pride myself on my clean skills and my quick hands, both sides of my body. As well by foot, both sides of the body as well. So, and then I can also go on the outside as a winger or a half forward and show my distribution skills around the field as well.
Mate, I think that's fair. And what is it like to chat to an AFL club? I bet that is really daunting. Was that like a really exciting moment for you, or were you nervous? Did you take it in your stride? How did that feel for you?
Yeah, well, the first one was super nerve-wracking. I was so nervous for that. I remember just like waiting upstairs for them to pull in the driveway, and I was just shaking. I was nervous, had to calm down. had to do some breathing and stuff like that. But yeah, I was so nervous for that one. But as soon as there was a few went by, I got more relaxed, more comfortable in them, and just felt more at home when they were talking to me.
Mate, that's good. You have to get used to doing it, I suppose, because we're getting to that time now where it really cramps up. It really ramps up. So it's good that you're nice and relaxed about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously with the draft, we can't choose where we go. So how does a young lad look like moving into state, if that's Queensland or Western Australia? Is that something that excites you? Would you relish that challenge?
Yeah, well, definitely a new experience for me because I've never done anything like that before. I don't think I've ever been to WA before. So that'll be a new experience if I do end up over there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenges that come with it. All the good memories, meeting new people, being in a new environment. I think that's something that really excites me about being in the draft, but also even staying in Victoria. I'll have to move out of home anyway. So wherever I go, it'll be a new experience for me. I'm looking forward to it.
And you've played in the Colts, you've played in the National Championship, you've played just about all the junior levels. Now, when we speak to AFL footballers, they talk about state football to AFL almost being a different game in the speed and the application of it. Did you notice that as a junior as well, playing for your club side, Dandenong, as opposed to playing in the country state level games? Is there a big difference for a footballer at your level as well?
Yeah, well, it's been a bit different for me because I've never actually played a senior game back at local. So it's been a bit different. But I'd say, there's a bit of a difference between the speed of play in those levels, for sure. There's obviously the best from the state playing in those games. So the skill is going to be high, the pressure is going to be high. So it's a completely different game. But I love the challenge of that. And it's something I thrive on.
And preparation for a big game, do you have any pre-game things you do, like shin pads put on in a certain way, boots in a certain way? We know everyone has a weird little OCD before. What do you do, Cooper? Is there a special thing you like to do to get yourself settled?
I'd say before a game, I'd say a night before a game, Mum always makes her famous pasta dish that I always eat, that Dad and I love. So that's probably one of them. But I'd say I wouldn't have too many weird things that I do before a game. I'd probably do it without even realising. I might put my left boot on first without realising. I do that every game. So that might be one of them. But yeah, don't have too much.
And the most underrated player you've played, obviously the AFL talks about these kids a lot. Is there anyone that you've played with or a teammate that you're surprised isn't getting the publicity? Someone that stands out for you that you've been a teammate of or played against?
One pops to mind straight away. I think Kay Delarue from the Stingrays. I've been lucky enough to play with him for 2 years now. He's a good mate of mine. We've obviously grown together through the Stingrays program, but I think he gets a little bit underrated maybe by the media, but because he plays a half-forward role that doesn't get much recognition. He probably won't have 30 disposals in that role like most midfielders, but he plays a good role, an important role for our team that I know will get a lot of recognition from AFL clubs.
Mate, everyone at home, go and check him out because last year the Draftees picked some smokies. So you guys play with them a lot. So it's always good to hear. Now, 5 minutes to go. We're in the AFL. It's an elimination final. What will we see from Cooper Simpson in the AFL? What is your mindset like? There's 5 minutes to go. Scores are level. What are we looking at from Cooper?
Well, being pretty new to the AFL at that time, I'd say I just got to play my role in that instance. Not try and be the hero. Just if it comes to me, it comes to me, and I'll do my best with what I can do. But yeah, just play my role and stick to the team.
Mate, I like that. Now, if we were going to go and look at the highlight reel of you, what game sticks out to you that you think this is me in a nutshell? What game really sticks out to you that you really showcased all your skills?
Well, there's not many to choose from this year, unfortunately, but I'd say I've lucky enough to play in the AFL Academy game against your Blues VFL team. I think I did all right. Showcase what I can do and kicked a nice goal, if I don't say myself, that I was pretty happy with. Yeah, pretty late in the game as well. So I think that game would be one of them.
Yeah, we don't often like Carlton banter here, but we'll forgive you, Cooper. It was a tasty goal. It was a tasty goal. I'll give you that. Now, you talked about playing Carlton. Is there a team? Obviously, this will change in a couple of months' time. You're not allowed to support anyone else. But as it stands now, which football team do you like watching? Who do you barrack for?
Well, I've been a Geelong supporter my whole life, so I'd say the Catters.
Mate, it's been a good last year for you. Hopefully you can sneak into the 8 just before you're not allowed to support them anymore unless you get drafted to them.
Yeah, well, it's not looking like it at the moment. So hopefully we can play good 2 games here. And
it's tough, that 8. I tell you, it's tough. It's very tight at the top at the moment. It's very tight.
Yeah, very tight.
And obviously you said the Cats. Is there a player that you watch a lot of footage of that you try and steal yourself and add elements to your game?
Well, from Geelong, I used to grow up idolising Jimmy Bartel. He was one of my favourite all-time players. Watching him go about it, his leadership and his toughness. So they were definitely 2. But I'd say someone that I like to base my game off a little bit would be Chad Warner from the Swans. I like his inside craft and also outside craft, and his running power. And Took Miller is another one. I love how hard he works around the ground, and also that leadership aspect of it as well.
I love you mentioned the leadership as well. Like we touched on it at the start of the show. You have been in the leadership groups, and that is a huge element. Now, your leadership style, what does that look like at juniors? What are you like looking to help develop some of the bottom ages as they come through? We know you've spent a bit of time injured this year. So how's that look like for you? Have you been more of almost like a cheerleader figure? That's a real good little bit of experience for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a good experience. I'd say I love connecting with all my teammates. I love getting to know them, talking to them when others might not. So I think that's one of my key strengths of my leadership. I like connecting with all my teammates, getting to know them. So we've got a deeper connection on the field, and we work for each other pretty much. But yeah, it's been pretty difficult this year. Obviously, I haven't been out there with them as much as I'd like to. But yeah, I'm doing all I can from the sideline, supporting them. I've been part of the huddles when I'm not playing and stuff like that. So I've been as much as possible when I can't play. But yeah, itching to get out there with them.
And going into the future, you've retired. You've played for 15 years. How would you like the AFL fan base to remember you? What would be the key words that stick out when they think Cooper Simpson's career?
Well, something that I probably pride myself on now, that I would like to be remembered for is a team player. Obviously, it's a team sport, and you've got to embrace that aspect of the game. And I think I do that really well. So a team player would be one of them. The ultimate team player would be one of them. But obviously, I think, hopefully I win a premiership. If I'm lucky enough to win a premiership, I hope I do. So I'd probably say ultimate team player.
And if you were the list manager, where would you pick yourself? Where do you think you would pick yourself out on your potential and where your career goes? Where do you think you would be drafted at? Tough question, yeah. I know.
That is tough. I've had that one before, but I think it'd be hard not to pass yourself up on pick 1, obviously, because you've got the opportunity to do it yourself. So you'd probably take yourself pick 1.
Hey, I love that, Cooper. I like a bit of confidence. I prefer it when people go with pick 1 than when they give me a pick 40 or a pick 50. I rate that, mate. I rate that. Now, we end with some bizarre questions because that's what we're all here for. So I think the easiest bizarre question, celebrity posters on your wall as a kid. Who was in your bedroom?
Jeez, I've got to think about this one. Who did I have? I don't know. I reckon as a little kid, I was a massive Wiggles fan. So probably the Wiggles.
I rate that. I like that. Now, the most bizarre food you've ever eaten. What's something obscure that not many people have tried?
Obscure? I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say obscure, but I reckon this would be one of them. I think the family and I went to Singapore one year, and we just went to this little supermarket. We got green curry. It was the spiciest thing I've ever eaten. I couldn't get a mouthful of it. I had to drink like 4 bottles of water just to numb it down. So that's probably one of the worst things I've ever eaten.
I've got to say, as a POM, we have a lot of Indian food in the UK. Chicken korma is our national dish, and I went to India when I was about 20 and thought I was a curry expert. And when you have like your local curries, they are so much more spicy than anything that they sell in the Indian or the Chinese restaurants in your own country. They are dangerous. I don't know how they eat them.
Yeah, they're bad.
Now, personal theme song. If you were a wrestler, what would your entrance song be?
I don't know. I'd probably have to get on the instruments myself and create one. I reckon. Get on the trumpet. I reckon I'd make my own.
Hey, I like that. That's good. Creative. I like that. Now, best gift you've ever received at Christmas. What's the best Christmas present that's ever come in your way?
Best Christmas present. I reckon I've been gifted a few footies over the years, but I reckon one of them would probably be my first leather footy years and years ago. That'd probably be my best Christmas present ever.
Footballs are good. Even as a POM, we remember our best soccer ball. We all remember it. It's a moment to delight. I love that. Have you got any guilty pleasures on TV? We're on Netflix. Is there something that you watch that you probably don't admit to your friends?
I don't watch Netflix a lot, but I say I watch TV more than anything. But Mum, Dad, and I love sitting down together watching The Block or The Voice every couple nights. So I reckon that I'd say that.
Hey, we all watch them, mate. We all watch them. Just most people don't talk about it, but everyone watches it. And to finish with, what fictional character from a movie or a comic book or a TV show do you think you'd be best at playing?
Well, I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a lot as a kid, so I'd say Leonardo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's vintage. That's vintage. That's right up my alley. No, I love that answer. That's quality. Well, Cooper, thank you so much for your time. Everyone here at Pommy and Oz wishes you the best. We can't wait to see your name called out and give you a bit of a follow in your AFL career. But thank you very much for your time. We wish you the best of luck and can't wait to see you smash heads in the AFL proper next year.
Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.